Most gracious Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the opportunity to gather here today. We ask your blessing on this community and the staff and the council, and we ask that you lead and guide us and to do the best thing we can for the citizens of this community. We ask that you watch after our men and women that are in service, the ones that protect our freedom. Give them strength and courage and keep them close to your heart. We also thank you for all the blessings you've given us. We thank you for our travel last week and get us home safe and sound. And just give us strength and courage for the day. Amen. Amen. Let the record show we have a quorum here. We'll call the meeting to order. And if you would join me, we'll have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. It is at this time in our meeting that we are like to welcome visitors and receive public comment. We want to thank everybody for being here today. Gil, we're glad that you're here with us, and Chief. Vince, we're glad that you're here. And
thank y'all for having me, Mayor.
We'll get to visit with you here in just a little bit. Audie, glad you made it.
Nice to see you, Your Honor.
And Leanne and Zana, we're glad y'all are here.
Thank you, thank you.
If there's anyone that would like to make public comment at this time, this is your opportunity. If not, then we'll go ahead and move into our agenda. First thing we'd like to do is the approval of the minutes of the council meeting of September 12th of this year. I trust you all read those and reviewed them, and I'll make a motion we approve those minutes.
I'll second it.
We have 2 seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next thing we would like to do is to consider ordinance number 0489-1016, authorizing the issuance of City of Muleshoe.
Actually, Mayor, if I could interrupt you just a minute. If you would just pass on that item right now, and let's move on down, and we'll come back to that item in a few minutes, if that's okay with you.
We'll pass on it till next month? Or?
No, just till the end of...
All right, we'll just move on.
Okay.
Okay,
we'll come back to that.
To item 3 on our agenda, and we'll consider resolution number R719-1016, amending authorized representatives in the TexPool. I'll let you explain that, Leanne.
Okay. If council remembers, we had spoken to you, informing you last month or so that we were going to be actually moving some funds over into TexStar and looking at TexPool. It's come to our attention that TexPool Prime actually offers some better interest than what we're receiving at TexStar. But in order for us to do business with them, or in order for Zana to do business with them, we need to pass another ordinance. The current ordinance or resolution that we have lists David Brunson and myself, and so this resolution would remove David from that and add Zana to that to be able to take care of transactions and to represent the city in those transactions.
What is the interest rate? Isn't the TexPool at like 0.41 or something?
Yes, but TexPool Prime is like at 0.71.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good idea. Anybody have any questions about that resolution?
I'll make a motion we approve resolution 719-1016.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve that resolution. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. This time we'd like to receive the investment report and financial statement for the quarter ending September 30th, 2016. I trust you all reviewed that report and the financial statement, and I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Would you like to do the administrative reports?
I'd be happy to. City hosted a blood drive on September 14th. We had 19 contacts and collected 18 units of blood, which is an improvement over the last blood drive that we have. I think we have one more blood drive in December. Yes. To complete this year for us with the Coffee Memorial Blood Center. And then the city received a letter from Reach Broadband. I think there's a copy of that in council's agenda packet regarding a notice that was sent to customers that there will be a 3% increase, and that actually went into effect on October 1st. And but council has received formal notification of that. So the other thing, we got wind of it last week when we were at the Texas Municipal League Conference, and then Chief Ladd confirmed today that the fire department has received a grant from the Texas Forest Service. It's a 90-10 grant, 90%, 10% matching from the city. It's a grant for $200,000 for a new brush truck. So congratulate the fire department on that and their endeavors on obtaining that grant. I understand that's a grant that they actually applied for 5 years ago. Those trucks don't come around to us very often, but we're really proud to have received that. So
That's great.
we'll be working on specs to get out to vendors and the bid process for that. And then in visiting with Chief Ladd, it's a 9-month to 12-month process to get that truck built, because they actually build it to our specs. So again, congratulations to the fire department.
I made it a point to go by their booth 4 times
4 times? Well,
to tell everybody I could catch there how much we appreciated their assistance in what we do here.
they do a lot of good things for
They
rural
do.
fire departments. I think I understood that there were 2 other, Littlefield and Dimmitt also received grants for trucks. And then some of the smaller departments also received some grants for other things. And they also provide grant funds for some training for our firemen, and then also some insurance coverage for the firemen. So Texas Forest Service does a lot of good things for a lot of departments.
Well, one of the gentlemen that's in the booth one time when I went by said, I don't know why you need our help, you don't have any trees out there. And the other guy said, well, they have a lot of grass.
Yes.
And it gets pretty dry.
And then finally, I'd just say that the conference last week was really a good conference. I think some really good sessions. I know TML works really hard to come up with speakers and sessions that will benefit all of us. And I think they accomplished that last week.
It was a great trip. Very enjoyable. I did go to several of the meetings and stuff, and some of them were very worthwhile. Glad I went.
Yeah, it was a good
Appreciate
trip.
that opportunity. Would you like to wait a little longer, see if any of the other guys get here?
Can't see if we need some sort of specific.
Could we just take a slight recess?
You bet.
Okay.
Now we're going to consider ordinance number 0489-1016, authorizing the issuance of City of Muleshoe tax and waterwork and sewer system revenue certificates of obligation. And I'm going to turn it over to Leanne and Vince, and we're glad to have you tonight, Vince.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, I would just tell you that this is the ordinance that's going to authorize the issuance of the CO bonds that we've been talking about for a while. And Vince is here to answer any questions and give some explanation to council.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mayor, council members, good evening. For the record, my name is Vince VL with Specialized Public Finance for the city's financial advisor. I've laid before the council some information in the booklet form. I'd like to walk y'all through this if we could. It's related to the sale and the marketing of the CO issue. Now, we appeared before you previously on August 8th. At that time, you considered the resolution directing publication of the notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation, also known as COs. That notice appeared in the newspaper and it's ran its course. Now, when I appeared before y'all on August 8th, it was my intent at that time that we would conduct a competitive bid situation for the sale of the COs, where we would put the COs out in the marketplace basically after getting them rated and putting all the necessary documentation in place and just get bids on the interest rates from various bidders. What I had failed to remember or look at that time is that on today, this is a holiday where the bond market is closed. So we couldn't get bids today. So once we realized that, we had to change gears and change our sale method from a competitive bid to a negotiated sale method. So what we've done is last week we negotiated the terms and the features of the COs with an underwriter, and I've got the information in here I want to walk through with y'all and answer any questions y'all may have about this. So if you would please turn to the first page, and the pages are numbered on the bottom right hand corner. We've got some bullet points there that are a summary of the issue. Last week we did enter into the marketplace with Samco, the underwriter, to get this transaction done. We were able to negotiate an interest rate of 2.23% on this issue. So the interest rate that we negotiated with the underwriter that we're presenting to y'all this evening for the CO issue would be 2.23%. We applied for a bond rating from Standard & Poor's for the city of Muleshoe. Leanne and I had a conference call with the S&P analysts. We went through a litany of their questions, answered those, got them satisfied. They took it to the rating committee and came back with a rating of A for the city of Muleshoe. The rating report is included in this presentation under the appendix. If y'all would like to take time to look at that, and I can answer any questions you have with that. Now, one of the things we also did is we priced the effectiveness of going out and looking at getting bond insurance on this, and basically we buy a bond insurance policy from there are companies in the nation that will give us bond insurance for a premium, a one-time premium that we pay, and that takes our rating from A to AA. So one of the things we look at is whenever we're doing this is it cost effective? Is it in the issuer's best interest to go out and purchase that insurance to get the AA ratings to secure the lower interest rate? Or are we better off just selling the COs at the existing credit rating of the issuer? Now we did that analysis and we actually came out $31,000 ahead by going out and buying the bond insurance and getting a AA rating on this issue. So actually, even though Muleshoe is rated A, underlying credit rating, which is a very good rating for the city, these COs sold at a AA rating by virtue of that bond insurance policy. And I've got the pricing information a little later in this presentation. We are going to close this issue, if approved by the council, this evening on November 10th. At that time, we're going to deliver $3 million in construction proceeds to the city. And when we close this on November 10th, it will be done all via wire transfer, and you will receive the $3 million at one time. That $3 million becomes the city's funds for y'all to manage. So as you have construction invoices come in for your project, you'll pull money out of that $3 million and pay those construction invoices. So that's how that will work there. And the COs also have a 10-year call feature. That's what we've done previously in the past for our issues, so nothing out of the ordinary there. Now, if I could get you to turn to page 2, this is the financing model.
Let me interrupt you.
Absolutely.
What's a 10-year call feature?
That means whenever we sell bonds in the marketplace or bonds are issued in the marketplace, you've got a certain segment of buyers. You've got retail purchasers, such as individuals, they buy bonds. You've got insurance companies that buy bonds, mutual fund companies that buy bonds. And what they're doing on the insurance companies and the mutual funds, they're building their portfolios up. Whenever they buy something like this, they want to know that they've got that investment for a certain period of time. What is customary in the marketplace is what's called a 10-year call feature. What that means is it prohibits the issuer from paying the bonds off early for the first 10 years. But after that, you can pay any and all amount off that you want to without a penalty at any time. If we start trying to shorten that call feature, say to 8 or even 6 years, we start paying a very high interest rate premium for that flexibility. So sometimes it's just not worth it. And we're in a very low interest rate environment right now. And I was real happy with that 2.23% that we got.
Okay.
Now, even though we are still within that 10-year call feature, which again is standard in the marketplace whenever we issue debt, we still have the ability, if we have funds available and want to prepay, we can actually escrow those funds to the call date. That escrow fund will generate interest and pay off some of the COs before that 10-year call window arrives. So we still have the flexibility to structure an escrow account and prepay before that 10-year anniversary comes up if we want to.
Okay.
So we still got flexibility. Good question, thank you. On page 2 is the model that we looked at back on August 8th. Basically it takes you from fiscal year end on the far left side to the number of connections we've got for the city. We kept that number static because we don't know what's going to happen to your number of connections over the years. We showed no growth or decrease in that number. The next 3 columns relate to the principal amortization, the interest that we'll pay each year, and the total debt service. So we're looking basically about $240,000 a year for the CO issue, again, at a 2.23%. Leanne, correct me if I'm wrong, I think back on August 8th, we were looking somewhere closer to about $245,000. So we're a little under what we estimated originally. I think originally we were talking about total debt service payments a little bit north of $3.7 million over the life of the CO issue. Here we're talking about $3,663,000. So a little less than what we thought originally, which also translates to a little less per connection, impact per connection. I think originally we were talking about $10.40, now we're talking $10.24 per connection, based upon the 1,971 connections. On page 3, so you know where the money is coming from and where it's going, we put together a table for the sources and uses of funds. So on the sources of funds, what we're doing in this case, we're not actually selling $3 million in COs, but you're going to get $3 million in proceeds for your project. What we're doing, the par amount of the certificates, the amount of COs that we have negotiated to sell with the underwriters is $2,795,000. We were able to negotiate a premium from the purchasers of $298,000. So we're getting basically the $2,795,000 in CO proceeds, plus that just under $300,000 premium from the investors. So we'll have total sources of funds of $3,093,000. Now with that, we're going to deposit $3 million into the city's construction fund. We pay the underwriters a fee for selling the bonds of $23,000. We have other cost of issuance of $57,000. That's financial advisor, bond counsel, S&P rating fee, attorney general fee, documents, several other miscellaneous fees involved in that, paying agent registrar, what have you. The bond insurance premium, and that's what I talked about earlier to get us to the AA rating that saved us $31,000 by doing this, cost us $9,700. So you can tell that cost is well worth it by doing that. And then a rounding amount of $2,400, that will go to the city's interest and sinking fund when we close. So that's where we're getting the money, and that's what we're going to do with the money once we get it, as far as sources and uses of funds. Page 4 is the calendar. We've seen this before at the last council meeting. Again, the process basically kicked off on August 8th. We went through all of these steps. We're down to October 10, where you're considering the ordinance authorizing the issuance of the COs. If approved by the council, the next step will be for bond counsel, Underwood Law Firm, to get the Attorney General's approval on the process. Once we obtain that, we'll have the closing. Right now, we anticipate the closing to occur on November 10th. Mayor, council members, if you have any questions beyond that, I would be more than happy to attempt to answer them.
I'm good.
So all we need to do is take action on that ordinance?
Sir.
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 489-1016.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to pass the ordinance 489-1016, authorizing the issuance of bonds for Waterworks and the sewer system. Is there any other discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you all very much.
We want to thank Vince for being here tonight. Thanks for your explanation and thanks for your time.
Well, thank y'all. It's a pleasure working with y'all very much.
You'll be back on the 10th of November?
Nope, it's all done via wire transfer.
Okay.
Y'all don't want to check from me.
All right. Well, we hope to see you again one of these days.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring before the council? We have mayors and council remarks. Anybody else?
I'm quiet.
You're quiet. I understand the Mules won last Friday. Congratulations to them. Good luck this Friday. Like I say, we had a good time at TML. We want to thank the taxpayers for providing us with that possibility for knowledge and a few days away. And if there's nothing else, then we're adjourned.